Started making money online actually from a toilet, from a bathroom, from a toilet stall, literally actually. While I was sitting on the toilet, I said that word now 3 times, but true, honestly. Had my then corporate job. I was a business analyst at Aon, I think it's called in German, but like huge corporation, usually offices worldwide, like huge, right? I got the job. I was very proud of myself actually, because I got that job right out of college. Granted, I didn't get one of those jobs, like I was trying to go for consulting at McKinsey or the Boston Consulting Group, but I wasn't quite there yet, I think, with my bachelor's. So anyways, but I got that job, and really good salary at the beginning already and stuff like that, more than I had ever made like freelancing before that, and translating, and even doing commercial modeling. So as I was, though, about 4 months in, after the training, was everything really exciting. You get your computer. We went to training in Chicago. It was really, really cool. Went to see, I'm still thinking of the amazing comedy show I saw there, and like the steak dinner that we ate and whatever not. So it was really, really cool, really fancy, all this kind of stuff. And exciting. But then I realized as we got to about, I don't know, half a year in, and I look at my higher ups, right? My direct manager, she was amazing. Like Christy, I still think about her. She was really such a sweetheart. And then the higher up from her, I actually forgot his name, but he was also very nice. What I realized is, I looked at them and I was thinking they actually never had done a different type of job again. It was interesting because like the type of niche category that we were in was really interesting, because it didn't allow you to kind of move to industries, right? You could sometimes, but it was most of the people that started working at Aon at what I did with the types of clients we worked at, they were usually kind of pretty stuck there unless they moved maybe to sales or something like that. So anyways, I just that when I looked at my higher ups, I didn't want that life. Even though they were, of course, so sweet, super supportive, and they were at the managerial, at the reviews, from your employees, I don't know what they call them, I forgot. But it was always kind of like, you are great, you can go so far in this company, and so on and so on. But I was seeing that they were also kind of stuck, like also the VP in my industry, in that branch inside the company, was stuck at a certain income level and at a certain type of work. And I just couldn't see it for myself. I definitely couldn't see it. And it became clearer and clearer, every day I was going into work. I was sitting in my cubicle underneath the neon lights, and it just felt depressing. And I just knew that was not it. That wasn't it. And I shouldn't wait that much longer. I was probably trying to wait it out and sit it out for about a year. And then I'm like, I have to find something else. And while that was going on, between like 6 months to a year, I was taking then extended bathroom breaks, and don't get me wrong, I was still like a top employee. I was always getting everything done and went above and beyond. But during my bathroom breaks and during lunch breaks, I started actually doing something very simple. I started freelancing on a freelancing site called Fiverr and Upwork. And the reason I did that was, it was really weird, but I went at the same time then to kind of like have a creative outlet, because mine was really analytical and data oriented, my corporate job. So I went to a stand-up comedy club, and I was doing an improv course there, and I met someone there that turned out to be, funnily enough, our neighbor in California. Back at that time, literally across from our apartment, I could see his freaking apartment. And so as we were sitting together once during a barbecue, because obviously during the improv course, he and I became friends and stuff like that. And so we were sitting together with other friends from the improv course, like the whole class, and then, our partners and stuff like that. And we were talking, and he just essentially, they were digital business owners, internet entrepreneurs. And I always thought up until that day that was a scam. I never realized in my mind, I never had met someone that could, cover all of their fixed expenses. They didn't have a corporate job. They weren't working at Starbucks, but they literally just were making money from their laptops. And back then they were in advertisement. The way they told me to kind of like just wrap my head around it and understand that there are legitimate ways, obviously, to get paid for your skills online is to start out and posting gigs and responding to gigs, trying to land those kind of gigs on freelancing sites such as Fiverr and Upwork. And honestly, obviously it wasn't easy, right? Like Fiverr, I don't know, for those of you who know, like you're selling a gig, so to speak. A gig is kind of a little job that you're doing for money. Kind of think about it, you're giving someone, I don't know, a Spanish lesson, or you're translating a document in German and that kind of stuff. or you're doing some Excel work, change a PDF to some sort of, I don't know, JPEG, whatever it is, edit a photo, all those things you can do on Fiverr. And, of course, nowadays, for the years, we had many people on Fiverr and Upwork. Many contractors we found that became full-time contractors also on Upwork. And so if you're doing a good job, you get reviewed, and you're starting sort of at $5, and then you are layering your service offer, and you're adding on to it, and you're giving them a retainer option that's like a monthly service that you're doing for them that you're getting paid for. And when you're starting out and you have never sort of like, you have no entrepreneur in your family, you have no business owners in your family per se, and you're really trying to figure out, how can I sell something? How can I market something? What is something that I have to offer that like the market is paying for? And how do I do that? There are so many questions. How do I phrase it? How do I make it sound exciting? How do I brand myself? And all of that step by step, slowly, from this freaking toilet, literally from this toilet stall. I was sitting on the toilet, just like closing it down. And I was just like having my little phone, and I was just like typing away. And I'm like, I can do this. I got this. Ooh, okay, I closed one, blah, blah, blah. And I got super excited. And then after work, I, of course, like worked for an hour or two and figured out what are more ways, what are new ways, what else can I offer to make money, right? How can I like cover my rent? Like, how can I do this to get to the point to cover my rent? Because then I will quit my job. And when I had about like, I want to say like 7,000 saved up. I was good at saving as well in that year. Well, good. I don't know if that's good. I guess so. I hope so. I don't know. But so I had about $7,000 saved up. I was able to kind of cover, it was still hard, but I was barely there to cover like my rent. Maybe a little bit for food and stuff like that. Obviously, at the time too, I should say, I was married at the time. So my husband and I were working way together at that, because we both had that same dream of being location independent and being our own bosses. And so I got to that point, and it was so exhilarating. And this is not to say that the road isn't hard and you cannot stop. That's what I'm saying. You can't stop. When so many people stop, I find, or so many people, they don't really get started because they're not putting out enough volume. They're not trying to sell to like different things to really figure out what is their sweet spot. And when some bad client, because they're bad clients, getting back in them and like bashing them, hey, this is not good work, they like take it so personally, they give up. And all I want to say with this is like, just don't, right? Like, if you have a dream nowadays, like, and that's something like my husband and I, we both like internet entrepreneurs. And with the internet, you can maximize and leverage your time. You can create your business in a way where you're not trading time for money, which we typically have done, which, honestly, also my dad has done. He has worked so hard his entire life and giving us so much, but always in a sense for trading a certain amount of time for a certain amount of salary. And so what I think is so exciting about that nowadays, like also for the next generation, AI is also like shifting the game even further now. There's so much to learn every single day, and it just never gets boring. And I guess with all of my story right now, if you're still here, thank you. By the way, if you're still here, amazing. Like, seriously, virtual kiss, hug. Okay, that might be a little weird, but anyways. No, thank you for listening, because I think if I just can get this to one person, also one mom, one parent, like you can do this, and you do have the time. It like literally, guys, for me, it happened on those little bathroom breaks that I took, like in the 5 or 10 minute breaks, in my half-an-hour lunch break. I found little pockets of time, and I just kept being focused and consistent, and I didn't give up. And this is where you get to the stage of, I don't know, realizing your next dream, and then you have a next dream and stuff. But if this is your thing, and if you're still here and you're still excited, let me know. If you have any comments about anything I said, if you have any particular questions, that's why I'm doing this. It's really exciting. I love creating content. Let me know in the comments. I'll create content around it. I want to help you guys. Also, I have, of course, resources. I have lower paying resources, higher paying resources. If you feel like inspired by that, click on the link in my bio. And yeah, stay tuned for more.